The first thing you want to do is remove your gauge bezel so you can access your vent and remove it from the rear. Lower your steering wheel as far as it will go. Reach between the steering wheel and get a grip. Kind of pull, and the bezel will come right out. Once you have the bezel removed, next thing you want to do is remove your vent. So you go to the back side of the bezel and just disconnect these little clips, little retaining clips that hold the bezel in place. And the vent will come right out. Now, I'm sure there's many different ways that you can mount this gauge inside the bezel here. As you can see, it won't slide all the way through, but you need to have it be able to be removable so you can access your micro card here. What I used was some 3M foam tape. It's about 1 inch wide and about a 1/16 of an inch thick. It's semi-adhesive on one side and not on the other. So here's a piece that I cut. It's about 10 inches long, and you can see it's not adhesive on this side and it is on this side. So what I did was basically started in the middle bottom of the gauge and adhered it about 1/8 of an inch from the top edge of the bezel here, and just kind of fed it around. And this is stretchable, so you can, once you get to the end, you can stretch it just to meet the edge of the other tape, and the same way around there to give you a nice clean edge. Now remember, when you do need to access your card, you can either peel this back and access it and it'll re-stick itself, or you can cut yourself a slot. I chose to leave it this way because, I mean, once it tunes in there, unless I'm making some major mods, I shouldn't have to access that card or data log my car again. So I just elected to have it remain covered up. Now that you've got your gauge prepped to go inside your vent bezel, go ahead and connect your OBD2 port Cat5 cable to your OBD2. Cord will be facing this direction, and fish the cord out through your dash to come out through your vent opening. Now that you have your Cat5 fed up through the vent, what I did was I took up the slack and twist tied it together in a nice coil, and I left about a good 5 to 6 inches here of slack so I can connect it to the gauge and still remove the gauge and be able to access whatever I needed to on the back side of the gauge. So once you have this done, you want to go ahead and reinstall your bezel. Make sure your steering wheel is fully lowered again. Feed the cable through the bezel and just slide it into place. And snap it right in. Now you're ready to install your gauge into your vent opening. What I did was I used the provided plastic frame on the rear and fed the cable through that because what I didn't want was anything pulling down on it from the rear. So this provides just a little bit more stability as it connects to the back side of the gauge. Connect your Cat5 cable to the back side of the gauge and snap your little frame in place. Feed your slack cable into the opening, and it's as simple as lining it up and press fitting it into place. Once it's in place, it is not moving, it will not turn. When you're ready to remove your gauge, you simply just take your fingers and slip them in there. Apply a little pressure and the gauge will pop right out and allow you to access the back side of it or your card, which is located about in this vicinity of the gauge face. you stick it right back in the hole when you're ready to reinstall it. Press fit.